Hello everybody. So today I just wanted to show you all how to create and deploy a domain controller for Active Directory inside of a virtual machine. So we're going to be using Microsoft Azure. So yeah, here we go. We're going to start with our virtual network, and we need a virtual network because this is going to be local and we want it to be separate from the rest of the network. So we're just going to create a resource group over in here. Just gonna call it AD tutorial. And create our virtual network name. Just gonna call it Active Directory VNet. And set your region. I'm not in Canada, but the Canadian region works best for me on my subscription, so okay, we can go to next. Next. This all come through. Okay. And create. Okay. And we're just going to let that deploy. And we'll be right back. Okay, we're back. The deployment is complete, and I've just realized I messed up the name, but that's okay. We are not too worried about that. Okay, so once our resource group and our virtual net is created, our virtual net is created, we can create the virtual machine. And our virtual machine is going to be Windows Server. So let's go ahead and put it in our same resource group. Let's go ahead and name the VM. Just gonna call it AD. In the same region, make sure you choose the same region as your virtual network and your resource group. Image. The image we're going to choose is Windows Server 2022. Yes. And the size. This is gonna depend on what kind of subscription you have. I'm just gonna go with this for now. This is the biggest. This is like the best machine that I could have because of my subscription. And we are gonna set some username and passwords here. Okay, sorry for the sudden cut there. Hopefully you figured out your credentials. Definitely don't use something as simple as this. But for the sake of this video and the fact that this is getting deleted right after, I'm just going to use something simple. So no need to change anything else here. We're going to go next to disks. You didn't hear that voice crack. Moving on. Next to networking. Now this is an important part. This should populate the VNet you created. This should populate automatically. But in case it didn't, come to virtual network and select the virtual network we created. We're going to leave all this. Yeah, we're going to leave all this the same. Well, for the sake of, you don't have to select this, but for my sake, I'm going to select this. Okay, next to management. And at this point, I'm pretty sure we can just review and create. Okay, so once the validation is successful, you can just scroll down through here, recheck it one more time. It's in our resource group. It's in the same region. And we are on the ADV net that we created. Okay. We are good. We can create. If you're not familiar, this process is going to take a little bit, so we will be right back. Okay, here we are. So our virtual machine has been deployed, and we are going to go ahead and connect to it using a remote desktop. So go ahead and get the public IP address for the Windows Server computer. I'm sorry if you hear my dog. And we're going to go ahead and type that IP in there and hit connect. Okay, I'm just going to dox myself. Hopefully I figure out how to blur that. And here's where we're going to type that username and password that we just set up. So let me type in my very hackable username and password. and you guys do the same thing and go ahead and connect. And the initial setup for this is going to take a little bit, so we'll be right back. Okay, so if you chose the right Windows image, Server Manager, what you see on your screen right now, should be the first thing you see when the virtual machine logs in and loads up. So we can go ahead and close this out, and here we go. We are going to configure this local server. We're going to give it some roles and features. Yep, so go ahead and click Add Roles and Features. You could skip this page by default if you wanted to, if you do this often. Role-based or feature-based installation is what we're going to want. Go ahead and click Next. Go ahead and click Next again. It's really just a next a bunch of times. We're going to go ahead and give it the Active Directory Domain Services role. So go ahead and click that. Add feature. And you could also add a DNS server if you wanted to. You could also add IIS if you wanted to, for like a ticketing system or whatever you need a web server for. But we don't need that right now, so we're just gonna hit next and next again. And what do you know? Next to one more time. We can go ahead and let it do this. We can let it restart because it's gonna need to. No reason to do it manually. And we're going to go ahead and click install. Alright, we're going to let it do its thing here. Be right back. Okay, so once your installation is done, you should very well see the same screen you see here. If there's any errors, it should let you know, and just go back and follow the steps again. You should get it. So we can go ahead and close this. Now we're going to go ahead and go up to this yellow warning sign, and we're going to promote this server to a domain controller. Alright, and our first option up here, we are going to add a new forest. If you don't know what a forest is, you can kind of just think of AD as like the forest itself and all the trees within the forest, or all the files and the containers and your users and your computers. Those all make up the forest. So yeah, add a new forest, and your domain name, which is can be whatever you want. It's most likely going to be like something like your business.com or your business local. So let's just do adtutorial.local, or it could very well be .com too. This of course won't be reachable through the regular network, because this is a local domain separate from what we know as the internet. So go ahead and click next after you decide what you want your root name to be. And right here you're going to set your DSRM password. The directory services restore mode is basically like your Hail Mary if AD's ever so broken that you just can't log in with your regular credentials. You would use this password to kind of get in like a safe mode type deal and reset and fix Active Directory as needed. So go ahead and set you could set a unique password for this. So go ahead and do that, and probably take note of that somewhere, or something you're really gonna remember. Because I'm never gonna use this, I'm just gonna type in the same password that I was using before for everything else, because I'll never need that. But you should set a password you're gonna remember, and go ahead and click next. Okay, and just like before, we're gonna go next again. Excuse me, so sorry about that. Just gonna go ahead and wait for some information to populate here. And there we go. This is gonna populate by itself. I'm sure you could put whatever you want there. This is just the default. Change if necessary. Okay, there you go. So you can put whatever you want there, guys. And go ahead and give it another next. Alright, and again, a lot of these defaults are perfectly fine. So we can go ahead and give it another next. Review some selections if you need to. This is also pretty interesting. Another way you could install and set up Active Directory pretty easily is just to run this script inside of PowerShell. So if you need to create more than one domain with the same default settings, you really have to create one here, and then you can go ahead and copy this script into PowerShell, and you can create as many domains as you need. So go ahead and hit next again, and we're just going to wait for some information to populate yet again. All right, now you're going to see some of these warning signs here, but nothing's going to stop us from deploying this, so this is all okay. Don't be too scared seeing this. We're going to go ahead and hit install. And yet again, we're going to wait for it to do its thing. Okay, so the server was successfully configured as a domain controller, and it's going to sign us out here. All right, so we can close this. Everything should be, yep, and there we go. We're going to restart. Okay, so once your virtual machine reboots, go ahead and connect to it again, and it's going to prompt you to put in your credentials. And you might note that the original credentials that you created are no longer going to work. And that's because we now have a domain controller, so we're going to have to give it some extra context to get logged in. So I've already done it once because I had to retake the next part. But you're going to have to give it the extra context. So type in your domain name, as I chose adtutorial.com. So whatever you chose, put that, and then hit it with a backslash, not the forward slash, a backslash. And then type your original credentials. You just have to give the computer a little bit of extra context, and the password will be the same. And boom, we're connected. Now the first time you log back into it, it might take a second. It might be a little laggy, but Server Manager should pop up here any second. Okay, things are moving a little slow. I don't know why my connection's not great, but here's Server Manager. Again, that's gonna pop up all the time. You can go ahead and close that out. But we now have a domain controller. So what we can do is we can either go down here inside of Administrator Tools, and we can select Active Directory Users and Computers, or there's another way up here, Tools, Users and Computers. And here we go. There's our domain. So here's all of our computers, all of our users, these basic folders, and now it's free to be built upon. If everything's working right, you should see this. And if we wanted to, we can go ahead and create a new user, Mr. Joe Doe. Oh, Mr. Joe Doe. Joe Doe at adtutorial.com. Why do I keep typing Joe Die? That's not great. Joe Die at adtutorial.com, which is what they'll log in as. And their password, usually in a business setting, you would set some sort of placeholder password, something that still can't be guessed by any malicious actors. And most likely, well, you will be selecting user must change password and next log on, because you're going to want them to create a password that they're going to remember. And yeah, hit next. The passwords do not match. That is not great for video continuity. Okay, here we go. Finish. Now we go to users. And Joe Doe should be in here somewhere. Let's go ahead and hold on. Let's go ahead and find Mr. Joe Doe. Joe Doe. And you could pretty much do anything from inside of here. You can make him a member of a new group. You can unlock their account, reset their password, which as a help desk employee, which you might be if you're watching a video like this, this is the type of stuff you'll be doing all the time. So yeah, thank you all so much for watching. That's how you set up a domain controller for Active Directory, specifically inside of an Azure virtual machine. So I hope you guys enjoyed, and yeah, good luck with your Active Directories. Have a good day.